Onboard lettering. There's actually two functions on this control panel for onboard lettering. We have this, the built-in lettering, and then we have this, which is kind of an imported font, more like a TrueType font. This one is a little more difficult to work with. However, it gives you a lot more control over the shape of the letters. So we'll start with this one first, A, B, C, D. And we start in the upper left-hand corner, we work over to the right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to type in what we want to embroider. And I want to go to uppercase, and unfortunately it's the flip phone type keypad. So I'm going to type in test. So we're going to have to, for test, for T, we'll have to hit this twice to get a T. And then E, we'll have to hit this twice. The first one would be D, and the second one would be E. And then we want S, and that's one time for S, and then twice for T. Okay, and then we hit the check mark. And the next thing we want to do is select our font. So I'm just going to select that font. And then the third thing we're going to do is go ahead and fill in the stitches. Now we could, that's the nice thing about this font or lettering feature, is that we could increase or decrease the density. So if you needed to cover up the fabric below a little bit better, you could increase the amount of stitches. You can actually see the preview, and it'll show you how it shows up a little more dense. I wouldn't go more than a couple times on increasing the density, because then you'll have too many stitches. But I did it twice, and now it's going to have good cover up. So if you're doing white lettering on a black fabric or vice versa, anything with high contrast, this will cover better. Okay, now I'm going to select this one, and this one gives each one a different color. Now, when you actually sew it out, you can tell it to sew all the same color, but what this does is it forces the machine to do a trim between each letter. Otherwise, it'll do the T and then jump over to the E and then jump over to the S and so on. So I always like to press that button. Now, for the size. We have to add X plus and minus for the width, and then we have to add Y plus and Y minus for the height. So we want this to be 1 inch tall. So to get 1 inches tall, we have to be 25 millimeters, because 25 millimeters is 1 inch. So we have to add these two numbers together to get 25. So we have 7 and 5, so it's about 12. So we're going to find the button that has the A with the up and down arrow, and that is going to make each letter taller. So we'll continue doing this until those two numbers add up to about 25, because we want 1 inch tall. So we need like 12 and 12. So we have not quite, they're not even there. So we have 12 and 9 right now, 12, 13, 14, and 10. So almost 1 inch tall. So right now we have 14.9 and 10.7. So that's over 25. So right now, of course, since we only made these letters taller, they're kind of skinny. So we're going to make it a little bit wider. So we're going to go to the A with the arrows pointing outward to make the letters a little bit wider. Okay, and then if it looks like the letters are almost touching, then we can actually create more space between the letters, and that is where you have the AB with the arrows pointing out. So, and the first time you press that, sometimes it goes a little bit overboard, so we're going to go back in a little bit. So we're going to go, and actually that looks pretty good. Okay, so that's a good good size and a good ratio, height to width. Okay, so that looks good. And then now if we want to put this on an arc, we just hit this baseline, and we have two different arcs available. We have the arc that has the letters slanting like this, or we have the arc where the letters are straight up and down and going up and on an arc. And then we have the upside down smile, and then we're back to the baseline. This will allow us to tilt the baseline just a little bit. So once you start rotating this, you'll have to finish rotating it until it's back around to the default, unless you want to scrap the whole thing and start over again. But I would recommend not pressing this one unless you really need to rotate it. Okay, and again, this will separate each character. This will move the characters close together. This will make each character wider, and this will make each character narrower or skinnier, and this will make each character taller, and this will make each character smaller, and this will give you a mirror image, and this will so this will flip horizontally, this will flip vertically, and while this rotates the baseline, this rotates each character separately. So when you press this, you'll see that each character, so not quite an italic, this, because it's rotating, it's not maintaining a baseline and just tilting the letters, it actually is twisting each letter, rotating each letter. Now this button here is really interesting. If you want to change the shape or the size of just one letter, you can do it here. If you notice now, there's a little red plus by each character, and if I press this one time, there's a red plus only on the T right now, and these are white. So whatever I do right now, if I want to make the character taller, it only affects just the letter T, the blue T, because that's the only place that has the red plus sign. If I hit this button one more time, now the red plus moves to the E, and I can make the E smaller or even rotate it. And then press it again. Now it's moving to the S, and let's say I just want to move the S up. There's an arrow key, I can move it up. And then we'll press this one more time, and now the red arrow is only on that T, and let's just go ahead and rotate that to match the E, and then I'm going to move it down. So you can see it has a lot of control over the individual characters. And when I'm finished, I'm going to hit the floppy disk icon, and I have to give it some kind of name, so I'm just going to call it T, and hit the floppy disk icon again to save it. And now when I exit, it'll be right there. That's the one I just worked on.